Don't look under the internet.
Okay, I'll test that later.
It doesn't matter.
Hello.
We could record for an hour
That's
and
true.
be like, "Bah."
Welcome to Bear. I'm Bear. Are you Guy Fieri right now?
All of this is making the final cut.
Chicken Man.
We'll take a trip down to Flavor Town.
Title of your
Do
sex.
you remember that Guy Fieri party that I went to?
No.
I
Why
do.
would I remember? Why would I remember a party
Well, it was
you
on
went
Facebook.
to?
There was like 15 people dressed like Guy Fieri.
I know. I remember a picture.
Was that Jackie's party?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was
I do
Jackie's
remember
party.
a picture. Was Drew there?
No.
No.
The-
Oh no, Drew was. That was the Halloween party. Was dressed as a fucking brony.
Yeah. At Joe's.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. No, he there was 15 of us dressed like Guy Fieri, and at one point during the night, I forget what was happening, but somebody was taking pictures, and my brain went like, fuck, I'm really fucked up. I need to try and make myself not look fucked up. And so like I'm like, okay, I have my drunk eyes on, which means they're kind of closed. So I literally look into the camera and open my eyes as wide as humanly possible. So I'm just like
And thus a serial killer was born.
Exactly.
And that, it was at that moment everyone knew you were fucked up.
Oh, absolutely.
I got this for the intro, guys. The hello to don't look under the internet.
Hello to don't look. Okay.
Hello to don't look under
The
the
translator's
internet.
broken. Okay.
I am Ivan. Who are you?
I'm also Ivan.
Oh, Ivan. Nice to meet you, Ivan. I'm Ivan. Who are you?
I am. You're not going to believe me. I am also Ivan.
Whoa. No, you poor leg.
Try. We have Try Ivan.
You have the try Ivan. Trivan.
The Trivan.
The Trivan effect is happening.
Who else here is a big fan of borscht
Borscht.
and the Communist Party? Hail my boy Putin!
Da 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 da.
Welcome to this fucking show, everybody. It's Don't Look Under the Internet.
It's
You
Shit
know
on
it.
Russia, the podcast.
Yeah, you know it. Hello.
That's Mike.
I'm Mike. That's Doug.
Hi.
I'm Jason.
Okay, don't interrupt Doug when I'm introducing Doug. That's
I
very
just said hi.
rude of
It's
you.
fine. No one cares.
No, Doug, don't defend him. Jason, who are you? Go ahead, say hi now.
I'm Ivan.
Oh, hello, Ivan. I'm sorry, I forgot.
No, I'm Jason.
Right, we subbed out Jason today for a large, burly Russian man.
The dude from The Punisher.
Yeah.
There's
With
a
the Where's
bear.
Waldo shirt.
Yeah.
We have a bear in the studio right now.
We do.
Why are we talking in a Russian accent, boys?
Well, okay. Can I just draw attention to the fact us introducing ourselves reminded me? Guess what we didn't do for Ben John Part 3?
An introduction?
Introduce ourselves.
We said, welcome to Don't Look Under the Internet, and we're just like, let's just fucking go. Let's
Well,
go.
In
Can I just-
defense,
I was
was
fucking
pretty toasty.
drunk.
Yeah, I was
We
pretty
were
toasty.
all.
I apologize to everyone who had to listen to my inebriated ass.
No. I don't want you to apologize because you two broke up the droll monotony that was my
9 years! 9 years!
Literally, I need a fucking counter for how many times I said that.
Don't worry, Zach will be on that.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Shout out to Zach Platt again
Thanks, Zach.
because you tally everything. And I need not to derail. We're not even derail. We haven't gotten to the fucking topic yet. But someone else, please help Zach keep track of how many times I say and because he needs help. People, he can't do it by himself. He's one man.
No, if you'll
And I'm a
remember,
psychopath. This is a lot.
if you'll remember, Mike kind of moved the goalpost on us.
I again didn't move the goalpost. I just need one more person so I know Zach's not lying, and I trust Zach. He seems like a good boy, but I also don't know him. So Zach, if you're lying and those numbers are incorrect, I'm on to you.
We could go with my numbers.
I'm on to you. My mouth is
I
right against
prefer
the
your
mic.
numbers.
My mouth is against the mic, and I want you to put your ear against the speaker for total connection here. Just,
Penetration.
I'm on to you. I'm
You didn't
on
see
to
it,
you.
but he just licked the mic.
He literally is trying to get as close to his mouth. He might be putting the whole thing in his mouth right now.
Yeah, well, It's all part of the job, right, boys?
He's used to it, so.
But again, thank you for keeping tally of that, Zach. That's really awesome of you. If someone else wants to keep tally of that, that'd be super cool. What are we talking about today, boys? We haven't gotten on that. Why were we rushing for a second? That was weird. It wasn't a stroke.
It probably has something to do with the episode.
What is the episode?
We're talking about a little thing called the Dyatlov Pass.
Dyatlov Pass.
Dyatlov.
Comrade.
Dyatlov.
I just want to give a...
Am I changing the fucking intro music to the Communist National Anthem?
Please do.
You should start it playing and then just like...
Fucking a month from now, Jason's going to be like, we got like a huge uptick in Russian views.
We have a
Very
sponsorship and orders?
Yeah, Putin, we have a sponsor from Putinos, Vladimir Putin's own breakfast cereal.
Putinos?
Sounds like a shit cereal. Putinos.
Yeah, we're covering the
Go ahead, Mike.
Dyatlov Pass. I can't even pronounce it. So heads up to everybody. I'm gonna give this heads up to everybody. No, you stop. You stop.
I saw the anger in this man.
I am gonna butcher these names. I'm gonna butcher all this, and I'm so sorry.
We are gonna sit here right now, and we are going to. You are gonna keep saying this word until you get it right.
Dyatlov.
Nope.
Dyatlov.
Very close.
Well, if you say it with
Dyatlov.
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 No, you're saying it wrong.
Nikolaj.
But no, yeah, you got it.
Okay, cool. All right, well, tell us a little bit about the Dyatlov Pass.
Dyatlov Pass it's a very old mystery. It's pretty well known, which is funny because I knew fucking nothing about this before I actually started researching it. I've heard the name tossed around. I know Last Podcast does one of their episodes on it, which we all fucking love those guys. The fact that I haven't listened to it is a travesty, and I'm sorry. But
shame.
This goes all the way back to 1959.
Good year.
Very good year. Great wine.
Real solid year.
Yeah.
Things were coming out. The microwave.
Tootsie Rolls probably.
Tootsie Rolls probably.
People were doing things and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to keep guessing when Tootsie Rolls came out.
You'll be right eventually.
Yeah, one of these days I'll be right. But no, so back in 1959, there was a group, I don't even know what they call it, like hikers?
Campers, hikers?
They're
Travelers,
like ski hikers.
Yeah.
It was like
Skikers.
It was like a ski...
Skikers. Such an ugly word.
That sounds like a racial
It
slur.
really kind of did. As soon as it left my mouth, I was like, I hope I'm not offending anyone.
I don't know if we should use that, but so these skikers
Drop the hard S on skikers.
Steak and... Oh, never mind.
No, so this group got formed. It was a skiing expedition that was supposed to go across the northern Urals, which is a mountain range in Russia. For those who don't know, for those that are not caught up on their Russian geography, it's a mountain range.
If you're listening to this podcast, you should know all about Russian geography at this point.
You should
Catch up, people. Come on.
Yeah, we do seem to touch on like the same things. Like there's fucking Portland, Oregon,
Russia a bunch.
Russia.
We're very...
Creatures of habit.
Yes.
Yeah, we keep coming back to our safety nets, which is apparently Oregon and Russia.
We're going to make our way back to... Oh my god, I forgot where it was. The KFC place.
Oh, Corbin, Kentucky.
We're going to make our way back to Corbin, Kentucky.
We haven't talked shit about Corbin, Kentucky in a while.
We haven't shat on them in a while.
You're right. Fuck you, Corbin, Kentucky.
Right, there's the...
Yeah, get
dumb
fucked.
fat bastards. I'm kidding. I love you all.
We met our quota for
chicken's good.
Corbin, Kentucky shitting for the episode. So 1959. A group of ski hikers, or as Doug has lovingly referred to them as skikers, they started an expedition across the northern Urals, and that is by... Okay, I'm going to apologize right now for how badly I butcher all of these Russian names.
I already made the disclaimer that we're going to destroy these names,
Oh,
so
but
you're okay.
I would like to double down on that because it's not good. I think how you pronounce it is Sverdlovsk.
You got it.
Sverdlovsk Oblast.
The closest any of us are going to
yes.
get.
In the Soviet Union. Now, it's a town. It's no longer called that. I have what it's called somewhere down the line. It's like a 15-syllable word. So
Can Russia just name their shit like, this is Mountain A, and just call it a day? Why do you have to... What did you just call it again?
Sverdlovsk Oblast.
Why? That's Mountain A.
It's fucking Cyrillic,
If you
man.
look over
Their mouths
there,
just can do those things better
I
than
guess.
ours.
Yeah.
They're used to the the other letters that they have.
Well, you know when you're like,
VSK is just all over their
you know when you're
language.
cold and you're like shivering, you're like, and your teeth are chattering. Maybe they use that momentum to just make their language.
That's you might be onto something there.
Any of our Russian listeners, get back to me on that. dilutipod@gmail.com.
Were your ancestors just cold? And that's why you sound like you do? Email us, please.
What is the sun? I don't know.
So, fucking getting back on topic. This was an expedition mainly to give this entire group of people a certain certification. Now, there's a couple of levels of certification in Russia specific to hikers. There's 1, 2, and 3. All of these hikers that went on this expedition were level 2. When they came back from this expedition, they would all be granted level 3, which is the highest possible. So you can tour anywhere, anything,
Cool.
make money doing it. Like it's hard
You
to
can
do.
become a Sherpa?
You can become a Russian Sherpa. Russian mountain Sherpa. This group set out in 1959, right? This is just a little bit of background for everything. This whole thing, as you'll find out later, has been, I don't want to say tried, but researched over and over and over again because no one knows what the fuck actually happened.
Actually, I have a very good idea on what happened at the end here.
Same.
So I will go over that at the end, but I do think I found out what happened to them.
Cool. Thanks for interrupting.
Cool. Fuck off now.
I'm not going to tell you about these things, but I'm going to just throw it in there that I
Just
think
gonna-
I know.
I need people to know I'm better than all of you.
I'm just going to bring this podcast to a grinding halt
Okay,
real
then,
quick.
then go, Jason. Then just go.
So, after the fact, there have been many instances of researchers, of trials, of people trying to figure out what the fuck happened. One of these people, he was a prosecutor named Tempelov. He documents that there were certain documents found in the tent of the expedition that suggest that it was named for the 21st Congress of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union and was possibly dispatched by the local Komsomol organization. Now, I know all of you
Wait.
probably know what Komsomol means.
They found, like, papers with them, like a journal?
Yeah,
Or- oh, okay.
like different documents in their tent.
Oh, cool. Cool.
Basically tying them to this, like, I hate to make this reference, but think Hitler's Youth, but for Soviet Russia.
Oh.
Yeah.
Vladimir's youth?
It's literally a youth
Who
organization.
was the very bad Russian man back in the day?
Stalin?
Stalin's youth. There we go.
There you go, yeah. Stalin's youth. But yeah, no, it's a youth organization within the Soviet Union that's very big on, nationalism and, the party. And they found these documents that tie them to this. So they kind of think that this is where they came from, which, I mean, to me it makes sense because everybody in the party that left for this expedition was under 30 years of age, with the exception of one person. And we'll get into him a little bit later because that's a fun one.
No, it's not.
But, so everyone knows, it's called the Dyatlov Pass incident. It's named after one of the expedition members.
He was the leader, I think.
Yeah, the leader of it, named Igor Dyatlov. And he's a 23-year-old radio engineering student at the Ural Polytechnical Institute. He led this whole expedition, and he assembled a group of 9 others for the trip, most of whom were fellow students and peers at the university. Each member of the group, which consisted of 8 men and 2 women, was an experienced Grade 2 hiker with ski tour experience and would be receiving Grade 3 certification upon their return. At the time, this was the highest level of certification, kind of like what I was saying before. As of now, there's different levels you can, ramp up to.
Yeah, like 4.
But no more. I can only count to 4, so please, God, no more.
That's where they stopped. They were like, we can't either.
So in order to reach that level 3 certification, just to give you an insight as to what that might entail for anyone else that might want to be getting a certification from the Soviet Union that grants them level 3 skiking access, I guess.
Skiker.
I'm a level 3 skiker.
Sounds like my
You
World
gotta-
of Warcraft fucking... yeah.
So level 3, you have to beat up a Yeti, right?
Exactly.
They just have one caged that they just let you go crazy on.
But so basically what you have to do is traverse 300 kilometers or 190 miles.
Damn.
That's not a short distance. It's
No.
fucking tough to get this, but that's kind of what they had to do. And this is the expedition that would grant them that. But that wasn't the actual, like, the goal of it. Like, yes, that was an added bonus, but the actual goal of them doing this was to reach a mountain named Otorten. I also have the Cyrillic here in my notes, and I don't.
Just now.
What?
I don't even try it.
But yeah, this mountain's about 10 kilometers north of the site where this incident actually occurred. So for the Americans listening, it's about 6.2 miles, 10 kilometers.
Thank you.
No one knows what a kilometer is here.
1,000 meters.
And, you know, in reference to miles, how...
Well, a meter is 3 feet.
I'm so proud of him.
So you can...
Isn't
a mile is like, what, 1,500 feet?
No.
Isn't it like
you had
1.4?
me.
Isn't a kilometer like 1.4 miles or something, or like roughly?
It's almost... It's like 1.4, 1.8.
Yeah,
in that
somewhere around
range,
there.
yeah.
I have to deal with that shit in fucking Canada.
Oh, that's right.
yeah.
I forgot. Yeah, you have to use metric for that shit.
Yeah,
These
really.
cars go kilometers per hour. That's not Canadian at all. I don't know
Well,
what that
That was
accent
Swedish.
The cool thing about Canada is that all of their dealerships that I work on, they're just selling mooses.
Do you have
Powered
to
by
buy
syrup.
registration for that?
No.
Oh,
Completely.
shit.
You could be like 4 years old and ride a moose.
Okay, I know this is the start of a tangent, but I need to share this. I found out not too long ago that one of the natural predators of the moose
The whale.
is the orca whale, or
Yeah,
the killer
yeah.
whale.
Well,
Which, when I first fucking heard that, I'm like, okay, who goes to who? who's coming into whose environment here? Is the whale coming into the forest? Or is...
when the mooses, the mooses, they migrate north, or no, they migrate south for the winter.
for the winter.
They have
Moose
to
don't-
swim.
Moose don't know. Moose don't
Somewhere.
Moose don't migrate.
No, they actually migrate east.
Because
don't-
they're dinguses.
No, all they do is they go to these deep water areas for food. They go down to get the seaweed and stuff,
Yes.
and that's when they get eaten.
But that's where I found that out. I didn't know mooses could fucking dive 30 feet
Yeah,
underwater.
they're basically submarines.
Can you imagine going scuba diving and you're just fucking, and all of a sudden a moose comes out of nowhere, scares the shit out of you, and then a killer whale swims by you and eats the fucking moose?
Wow, what a trip!
Damn.
I would literally walk to shore, throw my scuba gear away, and be like, never again.
I've seen it all. I'm done. Gonna retire.
But no, speaking of what I was just fucking talking about, so they made this expedition to Otorten, Mount Otorten. Let's just call it that.
Horton, here's a who.
Horton, here's no Torton. So they started on this journey in February, and it was estimated as a Category 3, the most difficult type of hike to undertake.
It's like a black diamond almost,
Yeah,
like a
like-
ski hill.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Okay.
like if you were not going downhill, if you're just kind of walking with your skis. Which
Sounds super fun.
someone explained that to me like I'm 5 later because I don't get it. But so like I said, it was Igor Dyatlov, and it was 9 other people. The 11th person was added kind of last minute, and he was listed as Semyon Zolotaryov, who was previously certified to go with another expedition of similar difficulty. If anyone cares, it was the Sogrin expedition.
I don't.
We know all about that, right?
Yep.
So he was kind of like a last minute add-in to the whole thing. Now, I know it doesn't seem weird now, but after you hear the rest of this, it's going to seem a little weird why somebody was added last minute for this. The Dyatlov group left Sverdlovsk City. Today, it's called Yekaterinburg. On the same day, they received their route book. Now, your route book is basically like all the information you need to complete this hike successfully. And I don't know, if I was staring down the face of a 190-mile hike, I might read over the book, take a nap, go to bed, wake up in the morning feeling refreshed, and then try to do this.
Feeling like P. Diddy.
They literally received their information. We're like, all right, let's fucking go.
Let's do this.
Let's fucking go.
I
No
was
fear,
born
boys.
for this.
But yeah, that's about all I got for kind of background. That's after that they kind of head out.
Yeah, the expedition itself is pretty like straightforward. So the group of travelers or skykers, whatever you'd like me to call them from here on out.
They're just skykers.
I'd be skiking.
They made a few stops before heading out on their hike. They first took a train to Ivdel, and then they took a truck to Vizhai. This is just on the way to get to where they're going.
We're not making
super
these
pertinent.
names up.
No, but it sounds like we took them directly from a J.R.R. Tolkien book.
Yeah,
I promise these are real Russian names.
Ah, yes. The Great Trek to Vizhai.
Yeah, right. I'm like they said, I'm probably butchering these names, but basically when they got to Vizhai, they purchased food and supplies to basically last them on their expedition.
And they bought the One Ring somehow.
They did actually.
It was just at a merchant shop.
But then on January 27th of 1959, they started their travel towards Gora Otorten.
Gora O'Torton.
Is that Randy Orton's brother?
Horton, here's a Gora O'Torton.
I think it's a mixture of Goro from Mortal Kombat.
I was thinking that.
And I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, so they start their way towards Gora Otorten, and the following day, Yuri Yudin, one of the expedition people, he actually suffered from health issues prior to all of this, and he was having a bunch of knee pains. And I would say if you're going on a 190 some odd mile hike and you have knee pains, you probably get the fuck out of there. So he decides to up and leave. He just dips.
Oh, I do the same.
Luckiest man ever.
Hell
Seriously.
Yeah.
So there are diaries and cameras that were found that document the whole first part of their expedition. That's how we know where they went, how they got there, etc. And then on January 31st, the group makes it to a highland area. And they begin to cache a surplus of food and equipment that would be used for their return home. The highland area that they came up upon, they had planned to hike over and actually set up a place for them to sleep. But because of the snowstorms and the worsening weather outside, they actually end up losing their positions and found themselves towards the top of Kholit Syakhl.
Sure.
Syakhl?
No one knows how to pronounce these.
I don't care. I'm sorry. So they get to this Kholit Syakhl place, which actually roughly translates into Dead Mountain.
You should always go to Dead Mountain.
Yeah, because you'll be fine.
Nothing screams, don't hike me like a mountain called Dead Mountain. I'm just saying.
And the funniest part is, so this is where everything is actually going to end up taking place, but they literally could have just, like, moved, I think it was, like, a few miles away to a place that had, like, way more shelter and, like, just,
But there's no adventure
shelter
in that.
from the worsening weather.
Well, Doug wants to be boring and safe, and I don't know.
I don't like dying.
Well, that's
That's why you'll never become a level 4.
You gotta fight a Yeti, die,
Yeah.
come back to life,
Level 4 Skyker.
go through a fucking Russian sleep experiment.
God.
But yeah, this is kind of where our story kind of takes place. This is where the start of all the bullshit kind of starts to come into play, and what a better place to do it than on Dead Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the conclusion that we have of knowing what went down after that, really. I mean,
then like hiking up the mountain?
Yeah, like we know that's where they stayed, and then the next thing we find out is that...
So we'll get into it later, but like we do kind of find out now that Igor told the Yuri that stayed behind, he's like, we'll send you a telegram after like 16 days or so that we're on our way back. And Igor's like, hey, it may take a couple days to get to you because, weather. But Yuri never received a telegram from Igor.
So you assume they're fine, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That or they are D-E-D dead.
Dead.
Yeah, they all fucking...
They were killed with murder.
They were murdered by death.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, all of them fucking died.
All of them.
They're all
horrifically dead.
Yeah, they're all fucking dead. And
so I was just telling these two that, like, I know that they died, but I don't really, like, I'm not really privy to
No one
details
is.
about it.
Honestly, no one really is. There's so much mystery in this that we're going to get into where it's kind of left up to interpretation on how the fuck did these people, all 9 of them, die?
Well, that's kind of where the investigation that takes place like immediately after kind of gives us a lot more of the knowledge we have on the what's and the whys.
Yeah, so obviously because the Yuri that stayed behind because of his knee, he never received a telegram. He let the fucking police know what's going on, and that led to an investigation.
Yeah, so I know that led to actually multiple investigations between 1959 and 2021.
Yeah.
And I know there's like a museum like that shows all the like the facts that we know versus all that other stuff.
That being said, that's what kind of makes the investigation pretty wild.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of quote unquote super hard air quoting knowns, but
oh yeah,
it's kind of all up to speculation.
Well, why
this
the
point.
fuck do you think we're so interested in this?
I don't know.
It's because there's so many unknowns.
Because this topic sucks and we hate it. That's
Yep.
what we're talking about.
Yeah, we only talk about topics we hate.
Everything is dumb, and you guys are dumb for listening to us.
Don't worry, I still love you. I'll always love you.
33% of us loves you.
All right, so let's get into the investigation, shall we?
Woo!
Yes, that's the excitement that I need.
Let's do it, baby. Woo! Investigate my ass, man.
All I can think of is that fucking fish from SpongeBob now, where he's like,
Woo!
Anyways, so the immediate legal investigation that took place was right after the first 5 bodies were found. 2 were found like semi near the campsite, and then 3 were found like a few like 100 feet away. They were all pronounced dead due to hypothermia, even though one of the hikers had a small crack in his skull. Once the 4 other bodies were found, which were found in a like running stream.
Yeah,
They were found. They had like a makeshift den,
Yeah.
like built into the snow.
What? Oh, like shelter.
Yeah,
Got
they
it.
made like their own version
I
of.
thought you were saying they went feral, and now they.
They have a coyote's den full of Russians.
Well, it's really, really bizarre because like there's so many like different intricacies that like kind of don't make sense but do make sense. Like I think the first bodies were found like buried under 13 feet of snow or something like that, and like it's really weird just the way that all the bodies end up like coming to light. But
The fact that they had the dedication to dig through 13 feet of snow
Well, when it's survival. Oh, you're talking about the police and everything?
to go
Yeah.
find them, like
Yeah.
if I were a part of that search and rescue team,
Well,
I'd go
unfortunately-
like 5 feet, be like,
Well,
Nope.
Unfortunately, it took a little bit longer than like one day to find some of these.
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah.
but yeah, I mean like so the 4 other bodies that were found in May of that year. So
Okay.
like what did I say? It was like fucking January when this happened.
Yeah.
So this is quite a while afterwards.
Yeah, they had to
so,
wait. I'm pretty sure they had to wait for like the snow to melt for some of them. If
yeah,
I'm not
I mean
mistaken.
they found 4 of them in a running stream, so obviously there's not much snow going on.
Does snow melt in Russia?
I don't know. I think it's just permasnow.
I think it's
Well,
just
that's
like
melting now. So who the fuck knows?
solidified Elmer's glue. And like I think that's just what snow is in Russia.
Sticky,
Yeah.
made of horse knuckle.
Horse
God's
knuckle.
upstairs just melting horses and saying, "Fuck you, Russia."
Here's a little bit of Ed the horse. And he's, oh God, what are you doing? Put him in a fucking smelter's pot, making glue.
I don't know if one horse is enough for all of Russia, but
No, it's like all the horses.
every
Also,
horse
why is
ever.
Elmer's Glue's mascot a cow if it's made of horse?
Because they don't want people to think.
Why
about
is
that.
it a cow if it's made of horse?
All right, everybody, I need you to stop what you're doing right now and go find a reason for this.
Go find Mr. Elmer himself and kick his ass for me.
Like your fucking stupid ass logo has the wrong animal on it.
Yeah.
Things that we don't know? We need to research
has
prior
at-
to the episode.
It has at least too many horns on this horse.
It's funny that you say that because I always, whenever I'm prepping for an episode, I start thinking like, okay, what could we possibly tangent to? And I'm always surprised.
Gargamel needs.
See, that one I'm not so much surprised about.
Not anymore, at least.
Do you think Gargamel took out the knuckles from the Smurf? to
Okay,
make
here we go. So, back to what I was talking about. They found 4 bodies in a running stream, which is probably now the 12th time I've said this.
We can't go forward.
They are dying of laughter right now.
Oh, fuck. All right. I think I'm okay.
You guys ready? You guys
Yeah.
good? Deep
I
breaths.
think so.
Breathe in. That was a hiccup. That's the wrong breathing.
Did you know that your belly button's your old mouth?
Stop! We have to go on with the show.
Okay, go.
All right, so I'm gonna backtrack just a smidge. So these
You
4
hit a-
bodies were found in May.
hit a
Shut your
rail.
fucking mouth. Shut your fucking mouth.
Yes, Pod Dad.
He's fathering
I
me
am.
now.
Pod Father.
I am the podfather. I will literally leave a fucking...
Did you just call him the Podfather?
The Pod Father.
I like it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna leave a fucking mannequin head in your bed.
Oh, God. He is like the dad of... He keeps us on track. He lets us know when we're being assholes.
I do
I
what I
like it.
can. I do what I can.
Doug the Podfather.
It's a me. Bibbidi bobbidi boobity.
Perfect.
Yeah, I know Italian. It's fine. All right, so I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. These 4 bodies that we were talking about that were found in the stream was in May. Once they found these bodies, the ruling of hypothermia started to change the story up a bit. So one had major skull damage, and 2 others had, major chest fractures. These wounds were said to be caused by something that was the force of what you could compare to like a car accident, basically.
Okay.
Which is kind of weird. And the weirdest part of this was that there was no external markings that could be associated with the injuries.
What? Like bruising?
Yeah, pretty much.
So, okay, just if I'm clear with this, let's say one of them had like a rib fracture, right? But there was no mark on like the outside to indicate it?
Well, the thing that I keep thinking about is, keep in mind, they were in the snow for
a while.
a couple months. So they were probably completely black at this point, like from frostbite.
I guess. So
But-
it's hard to tell.
But I have to assume that if you're, a doctor of sorts and you're doing like an autopsy on someone, you might be able to like tell these things
Yes.
from seeing the body.
You can, anyone who has blunt trauma to any part of their body, it's very fucking apparent, because not only does it damage like the top layer of skin where you get the bruising and the blood pooling, it damages most of the layers all the way through to the bone.
We're going to have some fun with that in a little bit, too.
Well, one of the things they said is that it was almost like they were they got like subject to extreme pressure.
Oh.
Like extreme pressures.
Like if they had, taken a dive in the Mariana Trench.
Sure. You name it. Like,
Where
I don't
my
know.
mozzarella sticks go, right in that marinara trench, baby.
I love me some mozzarella sticks.
Let's start a petition to rename the Mariana Trench to the Mozzarella Stick Trench.
The marinara trench.
The marinara
Every
trench.
sub that goes down there has to be legally called the mozzarella stick.
You have to leave one offering of one cheese stick
To
every time you go. To
Yes.
Cthulhu. Praise be unto him.
Praise
So, the bodies that were found in the stream initially had soft tissue damage, which I guess makes sense because of the running water. Not sure. I'm not a doctor. Fuck off. So one was missing an eye. Actually, a couple were missing an eye, but one was missing an eye. One was missing their most of their tongue. Someone was missing their eyebrows, and then someone was missing their eyes and their lips, like parts of their lips.
So, I wish I didn't know this, but the tongue, the eyes, the cheeks, and the lips are the 4 most succulent
Food groups.
parts of the human
It's the
to
highest
eat.
parts on the food chain.
Mm.
And human tastes
So
like
like
salted
animals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Animals probably came across these bodies and said, those fuckers still have lips.
They look.
I was
succulent.
literally just watching
Lips.
something about this, that animals go for the fatty parts of the body,
Yeah.
and I forget what
They
it
also
was,
go for the
but
testicles.
that's
and
what
they
it
do.
was. It was fucking. I think it was the last podcast that I was listening to, and they were talking about this dude who had a bunch of animals, and he basically found out his wife was cheating on him. Long story short, he let all the animals out that he had. He had a bunch of wolves, bears,
Oh,
lions, and shit.
Fuck.
And they found him just crotch completely gone.
Yeah.
I was like, oh
They
god.
ate him crotch
Succulent
first.
testicles.
Mm.
Oh, but anyways,
Human caviar.
Mhm.
Yes,
I'm gonna
yes,
start
you're
referring
right.
to my balls as
Human caviar.
yes.
You want some of this caviar, girl?
Yeah, somebody's eating well tonight.
But yeah, I mean, damn it, guys.
Continue.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, most of the bodies were partially dressed as well, which is kind of weird because, I mean, for the weather, like, why would they not be? Which actually does have a small explanation, which we'll get to.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of the hikers were even wrapped in small pieces of other hikers' clothes. So the ones found in the stream were actually wearing clothes from the other dead hikers, which is kind of bizarre as well.
So wait,
It seems like they came across the other dead hikers first and stole their clothing.
stole
from
their
warmth.
clothes.
But they
And
were
I
only
have
wrapped
a-
up very, very small.
I have a
portions.
bit more detail on who's doing all this as well that we'll get to.
I kind of want to know more about the why though. Like,
It's called negative 30 degree.
but didn't they have like
temperature.
shelter?
Well, we're gonna get to that, aren't we?
We will get to some of these things as well. Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So yeah, like I said, some of the hikers were wearing the other hikers' clothes. But the official report sums up this as the most accepted of the information. 6 of the group members died of hypothermia and 3 of fatal injuries. There was no indications of other people nearby apart from the 9 travelers. The victims had died 6 to 8 hours after their last meal, which, okay.
No, I get that.
Traces from the camp showed that all group members left the campsite of their own accord, on foot. So there was no,
Okay.
foul play, kind of is what they're getting at. To dispel the theory of an attack by the indigenous Mansi people, they stated that the fatal injuries of the 3 bodies could not have been caused by human beings because the force of the blows had been too strong and no soft tissue had been damaged.
Just the bones?
Like fractured bones, but no soft tissue damage, which is really bizarre.
That's fucking weird. Like if I hit you with a hammer right now. Like, I'd probably shatter part of your shoulder.
Mhm.
You'd have a bruise though.
Yeah,
These people just
absolutely.
had shattered shoulders
Just-
without bruises.
That's why they talk about the pressure thing, because it seems like
it's
they
like
were
they're
just like,
They're like popping,
yeah,
and their bones are the first ones to be like, "All right, we can't hold."
yeah,
Mhm.
pretty much.
Okay.
And then released documents contain no information about the condition of the skiers' internal organs at all. That was just left out of all the official reports. And there were no survivors. So once the final ruling had been put out into the public, they claimed that the deaths were due to a compelling natural force. That's what they called this. A compelling natural force, which is weird to me. Like, they're just like, some shit happened, it's fine. And because of this, there was no one to find as guilty of the deaths. The case was closed and sent to a secret archive in 1959. Then, in 1997, so a
Holy shit!
fuckload of time later,
The next day.
some of the film from one of the hikers' cameras was found to be kept in an archive from one of the personal investigators that did one of the original investigations.
Mhm.
This was released to the Dyatlov Foundation.
I love your little
Russian
accent.
twang.
Yeah. You've got the fucking Russian
Dyatlov.
accent down.
I try, I really do.
Because I'm like Dyatlov. And he's like Dyatlov.
Diet
Dyatlov.
Lab, my favorite soda.
And yeah, so that footage was released to that foundation, and then fast forward a little bit later into 2009, some of the diaries that were found were actually included in Russia's public domain, which is kind of cool because then a lot more people got to kind of get a peek at what was going on, even though they probably weren't like, this fucking thing is attacking us.
It took him fucking long enough though.
Yeah, right.
Like fuck.
I don't know how long it takes for like archived documents to go to a public domain.
It's
but
like 50 years.
Oh,
mean,
that about
makes
tracks then.
fucking sense.
Like
But-
the JFK files are just now starting to become
I
open.
need to start being on the lookout for things that are about to hit like public domain,
Right?
so we can just fucking steal them.
Let's do it. Fuck it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any shame.
Public domain. I'm stealing that shit. But yeah, so that hit the public domain, and then fast forward even more, we jumped to April of 2018, and the body of Zola Tarev was exhumed, one of the hikers, and of course a bunch of contradictory evidence starts coming out, which kind of seemed to rule away from a quote unquote natural force, but more of what looked like, like we said, being hit by a fucking car.
Right.
which is really crazy because of, none of the...
It's looking a bit more supernatural than natural.
Right? And that's where it's getting fucking spicy.
Mm-hmm.
But in 2019, Russian authorities reopened the files and began to kind of investigate a little bit more on the matter. It was then ruled that there were only 3 possible explanations. And this is from a government standpoint, not a us standpoint.
So take it with a fucking grain of salt.
They said it could have been a hurricane,
Nope.
a avalanche, or a slab avalanche, which, if you want to know what a slab avalanche is, it's just like a really condensed amount of snow going down like a mountain pass, just like a really small area of like...
And it's slower because it's like a huge chunk of snow.
Mm-hmm.
Think of like an ice shelf in like the Antarctic, like a glacier moving. Similar, but less icy, more snowy, fluffy, white, fun.
Yeah, and so basically they totally ruled out the possibility of it being a crime. And that was like as far as I know, the up-to-date investigative rulings that have come out. But really quick, before I continue, I want to go over a few of the unusual things that they found out during the investigation.
Because they're definitely there.
Now, I won't go into any like theories yet or anything like that, but I will just say these are just bits and pieces that were talked about. So I'm going to kind of spitfire some facts that I thought were a little out of place, that you guys can just kind of, ferment on in your mind. So some of the things that they found while doing the investigation were clothing found on the last 4 bodies had radiation on them, as well as there was immediate radiation in the area. Okay.
Maybe someone turned into the Hulk.
Probably.
I think Russia's just radioactive.
I mean, Chernobyl.
I mean,
Russia's huge.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the tent that they were sleeping in was actually ripped open from the inside, not from the outside in.
See, that answers one of my questions. Like, why did they run away?
They for sure needed to get out of where they were.
Yeah, they were definitely in a rush.
Plus, most tents have like a way to get out, right?
Yeah, like
without
a
using
zipper,
a knife. Yeah.
So that's interesting. Yuri, the one who actually left early in the expedition, actually had to come and identify bodies as well as like some stuff from the campsite. He actually said that he did not recognize a lot of random things that they found at the campsite. He said they almost looked military in origin, perchance. So that's kind of,
Do you think that has anything to do with the documents relating to the Soviet Union youth group, hard quote?
Oh, Stalin's youth?
Yeah, Stalin's youth.
Yeah, maybe. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah, I mean, that's like one of the worst parts about this whole thing is that we may actually never really know what happened, but we'll get there. So the lead investigator, Ivanov, wrote about bright flying lights being seen in the sky for like weeks prior to this expedition. Not to mention, the week that they were on the expedition. Like, people were reporting these bright ass lights in the sky. No one has a good explanation for them, at least documented, that is. And then most recently, actually, I do want to mention this Ivanov guy. He was actually the one that was ordered from the Russian government to close the case early. So not only was he writing about the flying lights in the sky, but he was the guy that originally closed the case on this whole thing.
Because he was told to.
Because he was told to.
Not because it was solved.
Nope. Just because he was told to.
It sounds like, most cops in America. Like, 24 hours have gone by. Let's just close this shit down.
No. They have a show called The First 48.
Right, but after that, they
you
give
dumb
up.
Donkey.
Okay, 48 hours. We didn't solve it?
Cold case.
Well,
that was fucking Monday. It's Wednesday now. Come on, let's go.
That's old shit. This is new shit.
After they ended up closing this, they barred the public from being in the area for 3 years after the events. So they let no one in the area for 3 years after this.
Yeah, perfectly normal.
Super normal. Some hikers died. Close the whole fucking country down. 3 years. Let's go.
Jesus.
Yeah, so that whole area,
and this was like this is just a regular ass. There's mountains. There's some small towns. Like, it's not.
Yeah, and I mean,
It's like there's a military base or something, right? I mean, I guess we wouldn't know, but
yeah, I mean, the public wouldn't know for sure, but I mean, think about it. You have a group of hikers perish on a mountain pass. What normally happens? They exhume the bodies, they take them away, they do the stuff. Life continues on.
that's it.
Now we have the, what's now named the Dyatlov Pass closed off for 3 years after. Like, what fucking sense does that make? I don't. That does not sit right with me by any means.
One of life's many mysteries.
My hube is tingling.
Where does the missing sock from the dryer go? It goes to the Dyatlov Pass.
Well, that's what Gargamel uses to lure the Smurfs in.
With their knuckles.
Right. Doug is crying into his computer right now.
No, but yeah, this is some freaky fucking shit.
Well, there's one last thing that I want to mention, and that so when they reopened the case, a lot of investigators that started working on the newly reopened case version of this said that there was so much evidence missing from the original files that they basically barred it as we will never truly know what happened here.
If I were a friend or a loved one of one of the people a part of this expedition, that's exactly what I want to hear. Like, we have no fucking idea. None. We're not going to know either. So, fuck right off.
Just say your goodbyes and continue on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jesus.
But yeah, that's kind of what I have for the investigation as far as that goes, and it
doesn't seem like a lot.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. But it spawns so many amazingly amazing conspiracies around this whole thing.
The main reason there's so many conspiracies is because of the initial search party that went out and found all these bodies. The details in the bodies is what spawned a lot of the freaky theories and whatnot.
So what was found?
So we got like a nice overview of what happened, and like the initial broad story. But if you look a little bit more into the details of the search party from when Yuri never heard from Igor, he called the police and they sent a search party out to find and look for survivors. Obviously didn't find any, but what they found was kind of interesting. Like Doug touched on, they found their tent was ripped open from the inside. Why was it like that? Where were they running from? You have to know, or you gotta ask yourself.
So, if I were to cut my tent open, there are two reasons I'd do that. One is if something is trying to get in from the other side, something. I say that liberally because if it's a person, I don't fucking care. Like, I've been camping. I know how that works. But to cut your own tent open? And run out into the freezing fucking cold?
I imagine it was probably quicker. Like, you made the reference before that, why didn't they just use the zipper or something? Right. I imagine these are like extreme like temperature tents. I doubt they're just held together by a zipper. It's probably a lot more. I'm not a professional in camping, but if it's meant to withstand cold, it probably takes a little bit more than a zipper.
Well, see, I get that, but I don't understand why you couldn't use that. Like, why didn't you have time to use the zipper?
We might figure out why. And there's some theories on why that might be.
We might stay tuned.
There's some theories on why they might have cut it open. But they did find, obviously they cut through the tent. A lot of the hikers were barely dressed and it was negative 30 degrees out there. You can find, as Doug mentioned before, the footsteps from all 9 hikers were found, or what skykers as we call them.
Yes, please.
They were found in a single file, like they're goddamn sand people who were trying to hide their numbers.
So sand people sounds worse than skykers.
You're right.
Just saying.
Hey, right. Star Wars did it first.
Hey, may the 4th be with you guys. That's why we're recording this.
Yeah, we are recording on the 4th, so please, may the 4th be with all of you.
Yep.
Hopefully you all have a happy Revenge of the 5th.
Yeah, and Revenge of the 6th. And then
7th and 8th. And
Star Wars, the 7th Awakens. I don't fucking know. But they found the footprints in a single file line, but while they're combing the area, they also found a tree where all the branches were kind of torn off the bottom of it, which kind of led to them thinking that one of the hikers tried to climb up the tree, like it was escaping from something
frantically.
Yeah, it's all like the bark is all scratched up and everything, and the branches are broken off it. And there was a fire. They found like firewood that was made right underneath that tree.
Okay, you're throwing a lot of things at me right now. Like someone tried to rapidly get up a tree. There was a fire. There's some animals.
There was a fire at the base of the tree. It's assumed that they were getting up on top of the tree to try to get a better look at their surroundings, see if they can find anything. That's the assumption, because if there's a fire already made, obviously you had your time to make the fire. You wouldn't be, if something was chasing you, you wouldn't have had the time to make the fire. You know,
that's fair.
So the assumption is they made the fire, got warm, they climbed up to get a better look around.
Okay, that's fair.
So
I still want to know why they had to do that in the first place.
So
that's
that
a lot
climber,
of questions.
the climber that they found they found 2 climbers, I believe, by that tree. The first body that was found was Yuri Doroshenko, and again,
nice job on the pronunciation.
So sorry if I butchered these.
No, that was fucking.
But that's the easy one. The next one, I'm gonna butcher that guy. But he was the first body found. He had burns on his head and foot, and he had gray fluid coming out of his mouth.
Okay,
he was also covered in scrapes and bruises from head to toe. Now, it's suggested also that these injuries were self-inflicted, and his cause of death was labeled hypothermia.
Yep.
Now, the gray fluid, you're probably like, that's not normal.
Yeah, what is that?
Apparently,
spinal fluid?
I believe so, because the reason that happened is from a strong force to the chest cavity. Blunt force to the chest cavity.
Rupturing your fucking dura mater, getting
yes.
Not dura mater.
So they theorize that he fell out of the tree, and that is what caused the blunt force trauma to his chest.
Okay.
The second body that was found next to Doroshenko's is, and I'm sorry again, Yuri Krivonischenko. Krivonischenko. And again,
got it.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. He was found by Doroshenko with heavy bruising, burns on his body as well, and a chunk of his own knuckle lodged in his mouth.
What?
A chunk of his own knuckle lodged in his mouth.
Was he trying to make his own glue?
Oh my god! We did it. We did it.
Full circle.
Well, they're theorizing that this was done. He did this to himself to help him stay conscious and stay awake.
Oh yeah, that's what I do. Like during an exam or to stay awake, I just
keep in
my
mind.
fingers.
Keep in mind, they're in negative 30-degree weather. If you fall asleep, you're probably not waking up. Yeah. So he's probably doing this to give himself pain to keep himself up. At least that's what they're thinking.
I need to stay awake. Let me bite my moose knuckle off.
I know a few people who know a thing or two about staying awake.
The weird thing as well, the bodies were shown to have been moved after death. So someone found their bodies. Perhaps it was the others, and because we were mentioned that the others had their clothing.
Yeah.
Maybe the others stumbled upon them, and they took their clothing from them and put their bodies in a more respectable manner. Who's to say?
Or just took the clothes.
I
mean, that's what I would do. Sorry, Mike. Sorry, Doug.
The third body, that's, it's fine. I would expect you to do that. The only thing I would ask is, like, if you're going to take my pants, just don't have my grundle just out and about. Please just close the legs back up.
I'll cut it off first.
That works. Thank you. The third body.
Use my peen as a fucking effigy.
I will make sure if I strip you guys because you're dead from hypothermia or whatever, that I will cut off Mike's grundle and Doug's peen and display them in a, ritualistic fashion.
You're such a generous man.
I love my friends.
We appreciate that.
The third body that was found was none other than our boy, Igor Dyatlov. And he had abrasions on his knuckles, cuts and bruises on his face, and he was missing an incisor. That poor bastard.
What's an incisor, Mike?
His tooth. That poor son of a bitch. He'll never live another normal life.
No. But you get first claim to his teeth, though.
I do. I already own them.
Oh, shit. All right. That was quick.
The coroners stated that these injuries were similar to that of a person who was in a fist fight. So they're thinking he was scrapping with someone.
I swear he was fighting either a moose or a fucking yeti.
Yep.
Or a whale, apparently.
Also, you'll never guess how. I'm sorry, I skipped over this. You'll never guess how Yuri Krivonichenko's.
Krivonichenko.
It's hard to pronounce. I'm sorry, but you'll never guess what their cause of death was.
Was it hypothermia?
It was hypothermia.
Yeah, I don't. That doesn't sound right.
After thinking that Igor got into a fist fight, guess what his cause of death also was?
Was it
Whales.
Hyperbolic time chamber.
Hypebonics rhyme chamber.
Hypebonics? Yes, thank you.
Lion tamer. You get one more.
Bitch, you did that on purpose.
It was hypothermia. Shocker.
Are all of these deaths just hypothermia?
Not all.
Yes, most of them are.
The fourth body that was found was Zeneda Kolmogorova. And again, I'm sorry. I'm gonna apologize every
You're
time.
doing great.
I'm
Considering
pronouncing
the
these
country
like
we're from.
I'm pronouncing these kind of how they're spelled because that's the best I'm gonna get besides trying to butcher them with a shitty Russian accent or something.
I think at this point they get it.
Yeah,
I have
Kolmogorova.
I have a proposition. You know
Sure.
that deal you made with the shots?
I'm not
and the
making another
ums?
one like that.
No. I'm saying replace it. Instead of the shots, you learn Cyrillic.
Yeah, I'd rather take the shots.
Fair enough.
Kolmogorova was found better dressed than the others, but had abrasions on her body and a long bruise on her body, similar to being beaten with a baton. So it was all up her body.
It's bears from the circus. They stole either the trapeze or that fucking the baton that the showmaster
Or
uses.
was it because they found like military stuff? Was it a military baton?
They did say they found a bunch of military stuff.
Guess what her cause of death was? For 500, Alex, what would it be?
Cholesterol.
No, it was baton. I just mentioned the baton.
Death by baton. I could have guessed that.
It was hypothermia.
Hypopermia.
Seeing a fucking pattern here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, real quick, I want to mention the investigative stuff that I talked about is all stuff that the government put out. Like, this wasn't like any offbeat dude was just writing up
These are
papers
official
about
statements.
it. These were official statements. This is why you didn't hear about any of the bruising, the scrapes, any of this shit in what I was talking about.
They were trying to hide this shit.
Just
Which
to kind
is
of
weird.
keep things
Why would you
kind of
hide it?
You'll see.
Okay.
So 1 week goes by, and Rustam Slobodin was found face down, covered in snow with internal bleeding in his temples, and a fractured skull. So he ain't doing too good.
No.
Whatever caused these injuries, the professionals have said he survived them for over an hour before death. So he kind of lived through all that shit.
Can you imagine just a Yeti coming up and just straight punching you in the head like this? Just
And you live.
and you're like, well, that wasn't great.
Guess
Guess I'll keep living.
well, for about an hour. Guess I'll die.
I'm over this now.
Yeah. And then drum roll, please. Guess what his cause of death was? Hypothermia.
Oh, I was gonna say he drowned.
Yeti sandwiching his face.
Diabetes.
Close.
He drowned of diabetes.
Months went by, just like Doug said before. Months went by until a member of the was it Mansi tribe? Mansi?
Mansi
M-A-N-S-I
or something. I don't know.
Until a member of the Mansi tribe found a den in the snow with all the other bodies. The remaining, I believe, 4 were in there. It looks like they tried to dig a little underground igloo-esque thing.
Okay.
To survive.
Some kind of shelter against the fucking elements.
Yeah. Lyudmila Dubinina. She was found draped over a ledge. Her lips were missing. 10 ribs were broken, and her eyes and tongue were gone. Blood found in her stomach showed that she was alive when that happened too.
What?
Mm-hmm. Yep, she was alive when all that shit happened. Cause of death?
Fuck.
Guess what it was? Hypothermia. I'm kidding. It was hemorrhaging.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it was not hypothermia this time.
One of the few that were.
It was hemorrhaging of the heart. So she was one of
That's
the
a
only
bad
ones.
place to hemorrhage from.
Yeah, probably.
The place that works all that. Yeah.
Simeon Zolotaryov. He was better dressed than all the others.
Wait, why did you have to include that?
He was looking fucking dapper.
Well, because it's theorized. I'll get to it in just a second.
Well, the rest
actually.
of these people look like jackasses now.
Oh, like he's dapper, like he's going to an interview.
Yeah, he's dressed way better.
He
had
dies
on
in
a
like
tux.
a full like.
His clothing
Those
cost
full
4
suits.
times as much as the rest of the fucking expedition combined.
Even with all those clothes, he still had 3 broken ribs, missing eyebrow tissue to where his skull on his eyebrow was showing, and he had a deep ass gash in the back of his head.
A deep ass ass.
He was also missing his eyes, and yes, a deep ass.
Thank you.
Guess his cause of death? Hypothermia.
Oh, man.
Take it away, Johnny. Medical professionals also stated that the campers' chest wounds that they all had could not have been caused by another human. I know Doug said that, but I just wanted to reinstate that as well. They were similar to a car crash, like Doug said, but the bodies had no bruising where any of the damage was. So what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then here's a name I can pronounce: Alexander Kolvatov. But it's Alexander, which I can pronounce, but he spells it Alek
Yeah, that's the Russian
Sander.
way.
And I'm like, you couldn't just give me one.
No.
But he was found in the dead. He was found in the den as well, but he also had burn marks. He was missing both eyebrows as well, and his neck was deformed, much like it was snapped. So that's
These
fucked
guys
up.
got fucked up, is what
Yep.
you're saying.
What's his cause of death?
Hypothermia.
Yeah. This man has a snapped neck. The cold got him, that's
Broken
for sure.
neck? Yeah, that was the cold.
Yep.
Oh, for sure. Sometimes it's just
Yep. And then we have the last one, Nikolai Brignoli.
Nikolaj.
It's Nikolaj.
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 He had bruising on his lips and his face, and he was which bled internally. He had a shattered skull, yet no damage to the soft tissue. His death was blamed on a powerful force from a non-human. The last 4 had taken clothes from the other bodies to stay warm, at least it's theorized. And on some of the clothes, like Doug said, there was radiation. And the radiation was even found all around the Dyatlov Pass itself.
That's fucking weird to me.
No
Can we just
explanation
say
has
real-
been given how.
Real
except
quick.
I have an idea. Yes, Doug.
Just real quick.
Go ahead.
You
have
said
the stage.
non-human.
Yeah,
Yes.
what?
There's
Similar
only
to like
one
the
non-human
SCP
there.
episode where I'm like, any other entities aside from humans?
So let's get into that, shall we?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
'Cause how do you fucking just say that and...
Well, if you didn't interrupt me, I would have said so.
Well, then interrupt us back.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Well, I'm doing that now. So that helps us. The whole non-human thing helps us get into some of the theories that are going on. The most popular ones, I have listed here. I'm not going to go over some of the fucking stupid ones. But for example, one of the older theories was the Mansi tribe killed the hikers.
What were they?
The Mansi?
No, what was the name of the people they killed?
Oh, the Skykers.
Thank
You're
you.
right.
Thank you.
Get it right.
The Skykers were on Death Mountain, which was home to the Mansi people, and there was even a sacrificial structure found near the campsite.
That's just...
But
Death Mountain is the home to people.
yes, but here's the thing.
Okay.
Well, it's not their home; it's their territory.
Oh,
They
my
own
mistake.
Yeah, they own it. But this has kind of been ruled out. The Mansi people have been they've already like gone in public saying like we don't do human sacrifices. That's some fucked up shit. And the sacrificial structure that they found was more than likely for a moose that they killed, and they just used its meat and everything. And that's pretty much confirmed because on that structure you even find moose antlers inside the structure.
That's what people who do sacrifices would
Yeah,
say.
right. They're trying to get you off the trail.
No, we wouldn't do this shit.
But that was kind of that theory was kind of thrown out way back in like the 70s, and it was kind of just it's been disputed forever now. But that's still one of the more common ones. Another is obviously the Avalanche Theory. The area isn't really known to have avalanches, but it's still possible because they're on the base of a mountain. The only problem with this theory is that the injuries that showed no tissue damage, if you're being hit by like a rock or something hard, you're going to get bruises.
Yeah.
You're not going to just have the damage with no vision or no proof of it. There's skis. Also, the search party found all the Skykers' skis. Yeah,
so happy
it's just
it's
an actual
casual
thing now.
comment. Yeah,
They found all their skis still standing up in the snow where they left them. If an avalanche came through, would that not have torn the skis down?
Yeah, which doesn't make sense too, because they found some of the bodies buried so deep.
13 fucking feet.
The deepness I can understand from an avalanche. That would have buried them.
Well,
but
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But the fucking physical camp is just like...
Yeah. Also,
I'm still
there was no records or signs of an avalanche in the area that night. Also, that doesn't explain the fucking radiation in the
that's
area.
the part that gets me.
Yeah. The other one, which is the funnest one, but probably the less true one, is the fucking Yeti.
Yes.
The campers did on one of the cameras. They found there was a picture of a figure in the distance of a forest, and it does look like a large, like darker figure. You can't make out what it is. People think that it's a Yeti, and they're in Yeti territory. The only problem is there's no Yeti tracks. If it's a Bigfoot, you would think you'd find tracks.
Or it has wings.
Or it has wings like a Jersey Devil.
Moth Yeti.
Yeah, but that doesn't. Again, if Yeti's coming through killing you, that doesn't explain the tissue damage without bruises or anything.
Right.
That also again doesn't explain the radiation, unless
Right.
Yetis exclude radiation. We don't know. We don't know anything about fucking Yetis. But
Hopefully we will soon, maybe in another episode.
maybe. Another one is aliens.
Oh, obviously.
This one I feel holds up the most.
Especially because, like, so one thing that I did, honestly, accidental research on this was all of the accounts kind of state that they saw these orbs, these glowing orbs.
So there was, on one of the cameras that they picked up, the camera was heavily water damaged because it was found buried in snow. So take these pictures with a grain of salt. You can find all these pictures online too of the Yeti and all the lights and everything. It could have been damaged from the camera, from water. So who knows if these were actual lights or anything. But on the camera, there are multiple pictures of what looks like lights in the sky. The Mansi people even reported to the police that they saw lights in the sky that night as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's adding to the theory. That would also explain the radiation, because UFOs are known to give off radiation and leave radiation in the area that they land on.
Well, it's because of the
engine.
The engines. We'll go into that.
So that's in my opinion one of the top like 3 theories that stand up the most. Another theory is paradoxical undressing, where
that is actually a fucking real thing.
It is. Yeah. Essentially, paradoxical undressing is when you're getting hypothermia, your body freaks the fuck out, and instead of thinking you're cold, thinks you're burning hot.
So you start stripping.
You start stripping because you're going crazy. You think you're burning up, when in reality you're dying.
Honestly, most victims of hypothermia, at least when it pertains to like being outdoors and in the elements, not so much in like a controlled environment, is hypothermia. You almost always find the victims in like their underwear or naked or something like that.
Now, one of the only problems here with the paradoxical undressing is if all these people were going crazy and they're thinking they're burning up, why did they build that fire that we found?
And why were the clothing found on like other people? Like,
exactly.
Did they paradoxically undress here and then other people be like, oh, I'm freezing, I'm gonna take that?
Yeah.
The only thing I could think of is some person was going crazy. That's why they cut out of the shelter. The crazy person cut out of the shelter. They ran out like butt ass naked, and the other people were just like, shit, we need to do what we can to survive. This motherfucker's crazy. And that same theory of like maybe a couple of them went crazy and the others stayed sane. That's why those 4 dug a den while the other ones were fucking climbing trees or
in a river
and half naked in a river. That theory also goes into something called the Carmen Vortex Street, which essentially when wind at a certain velocity hits something of a certain shape, it creates a
pressure point.
It creates like a sound wave that we can't hear. It's like infrasound, and when it hits you, it causes you to freak the fuck out. It causes anxiety. It causes panic.
It's like the brown note, but for your mind.
Kind of, yeah. That would explain.
Just don't shit yourself.
You're right. That would explain like some of them going crazy, and again why they might have cut out of their tent. But again, that doesn't explain the radiation. And you're gonna tell me that all 9 of these people experienced the exact same anxiety-ridden issue? You know what I mean? Why would all 9 people have
the coincidence is way too much.
Exactly.
Maybe they were trying to have a big old orgy, and then someone was like,
it just
I got
didn't
crabs,
go well.
And then like everyone started
just
freak
dissipating.
out.
The last theory that I'll go over that I like a lot is the Soviet government cover-up.
Mm-hmm.
The government did bury the report for like 3 years or so before letting it out to the public, and they were very shady on the details. Maybe the Soviets were testing weapons in the area, or maybe they were covering up the Yeti or alien attacks. One member of the search party, and I believe it was the Yuri that stayed back, he even mentioned that he found military boot tracks in the area, and it was confirmed that there were rocket testing near the campsite.
Mm-hmm.
It was like miles upon miles away, but it was in the general region.
You can't rule it out.
But that would again, that one lady had the bruisings that were similar to being beaten with a baton. If they found military tracks, military people probably are carrying batons around.
Probably. Especially in the 50s,
Yeah.
60s, almost 60s.
I do have theories on the radiation and what I think happened, but let's kind of...
Yeah, so before we kind of dive into what we all think, there is some... Obviously, there's... With any mysterious, weird event like this, there's always going to be some fallout. There's always going to be, somebody looking deeper, somebody trying to, get the story out. And that absolutely happens, albeit it wasn't as much as I thought it was going to be. Because we see, take, 9/11, for example. Mm-hmm. We get the explanation, and then most of us went, go fuck yourself, that doesn't make sense. And then there have been, hundreds of theories after that. With this, this was a huge event in, the 50s and 60s. Even all the way through to, the 90s, this was still being talked about pretty heavily. And one of the things that came from this is a book by someone by the name of Anatoly Gershin. And he summarized all of his research in his book called The Price of State Secrets is 9 Lives.
Like a cat.
Kind of, yes, but for government.
Cats in the cradle and the silver spoon.
Goddamn.
Little boy blue. We're going to get copyright struck because I'm too good.
Spot on. Nice cock.
Nice cock. Like Shadow the Hedgehog once said. Nice cock.
Nice dick.
Nice cock.
Gas control!
So some researchers actually criticized his work for its concentration on the speculative theory of a Soviet secret weapon system. But its publication led to a public discussion and it stimulated interest for those who are interested in the paranormal. Basically, his book, yes, it wasn't the most based in fact. It was kind of out there.
Yeah.
Oh, it was fiction.
But, yes, it started the discussion among people. They started talking about this incident in more of a paranormal light, not so much as there's a logical explanation here. And that's kind of the important thing about that book. From what I've read, the book itself, it's not good.
It's in Russian. I don't understand it.
I read a few excerpts from translated excerpts, obviously, but it seems like it might go over my fucking head. But the parts that did matter kind of resonated with a bunch of people in Russia, Ukraine, Europe a lot, eventually over to the U.S. because we have a whole bunch of people talking about this.
A lot of Russians here.
A lot of the people who remained silent for 30 years actually surfaced and started reporting new facts in the 80s and 90s about the accident. One of them was a former police officer, Lev Ivanov, who led the official inquest in 1959. In 1990, 31 years later, he published an article that included his admission the investigation team had no rational explanation for the incident. He also stated that after his team reported that they had seen flying spheres, he then received direct orders from a high-ranking regional official to just fucking dismiss this whole claim. No, there's no question about it. No, as soon as they heard about it, they go, "Yeah, stop asking about it. You're done." And
Yep.
that was the explanation that was given to him.
So much cover up.
So much fucking cover up. So now, again, in 2000, a regional television company produced a documentary film called The Mystery of Dyatlov Pass. And this actually grew into, it spawned a whole bunch of based on a true story documentaries.
I hate those.
it's not factual, which pisses me off.
They
because
take like the story is
Yeah.
real, but then they just fuck with
they
it.
fucking dramatize the shit out of it, and
Like
they call it a
it's
documentary.
It's like what is it? The Leatherface movies are based on true events, but they're
and they're
just
but
over
there was no
fabrication.
man
state,
who wore faces.
not a
Different
chainsaw.
state.
It was
no
fucking.
chainsaw.
What was it? Was it Ed Gein? That's based off of.
No, it
Well,
was
they
some.
take pieces from.
It's like
yes,
they
but
pull.
yeah,
That's
they
what I
pulled
mean.
a lot
They're
of stuff.
based on a true story. It's based.
They
slightly
fabricated
on
a
Ed
story
Gein
based
and
off
other
of like
things.
6 true stories.
Yeah,
Pretty sure it was a guy in Wisconsin that used a hammer.
the hammer.
Like, is what it's mainly taken from. But besides the point.
So other than these documentaries that spawn, there was a book that came out that includes like these huge broad quotations for the whole case, which sucks because this isn't something you should be broad about. You should be pretty fucking specific
Yeah,
when
I
you're
need
dealing
deets
with
on this, son.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of facts here, so I think you should focus on those to try and like bring out the truth from
That's
everything.
quite literally what everyone wants. I'm tired of hearing the story. I want to hear the details.
Right.
I want to know what happened. I know what's going on. I want to know the hard truth.
And books spawned that basically just, reaffirmed the myths that are around this whole situation. And there's just not a whole lot of like facts when it comes to this, because how would there be? 1959, out in the middle of fucking nowhere, no cell phones,
In Soviet Russia.
there's no contact. The only way to contact was the telegram that was going to be sent 16 days after they left.
Yep.
Say like expect this at this time.
And that never even came through.
Never came through, and you can't base these documentaries off of shit like that. You can't call it a documentary if it's based mostly in myth. At least in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's just fucking hugely misleading.
Although I really wouldn't mind seeing like a blockbuster movie made about this, like with either like a Yeti tie-in or a Alien tie-in. Like I'd be super down to
hell
watch
yeah.
that.
Absolutely. I'd like The
Awesome.
Thing.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
that'd be
exactly.
amazing.
If you just fucking sequel into this.
John Carpenter, do your work.
Yeah, please. Please. I fucking love that movie. I need to watch that again soon. But anyway, moving on. The last thing that spawned from this whole incident was something called the Dyatlov Foundation. It was founded in 1999 in Yekaterinburg, which is the new name for
A place.
yeah, it was what was the name of the original fucking place? Sverdlovsk Oblast.
Yep.
That
Yeah,
one that we tried to
word.
pronounce.
Yeah, they changed the name.
You probably could have said anything there and we would have been like, yep.
Sergeberferder.
I'm agreeing with you because I don't know.
In 1999, it is now called Yekaterinburg. So the Dyatlov Foundation was formed in 1999 with the help of the Ural State Technical University, led by Yuri Kuntsevich. The foundation's stated aim is to continue the investigation of the case and to maintain the Dyatlov Museum to preserve the memory of the dead skikers, not hikers.
There you go. You got it.
On July 1st, 2016, a memorial plaque was inaugurated in Solikamsk. What?
That's it. Yep.
Solikamsk, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you
what
got
it is. In the Urals Perm region, and it was dedicated to Yuri Doroshenko, the sole survivor of the expedition group, and he died in 2013.
So many words you just said.
There's
A lot of Russian.
I know, but there's not a whole lot of aftermath that kind of that carried through for this. And I don't know, for something that has so much mystery surrounding it, I kind of figured there'd be a little more. But
That's Russia
That's
for you, baby.
what- that's- you got to come up with your own conclusion, I guess, at this point.
well, speaking of,
Yeah, what do you got? What do you boys think happened? Doug, let's start with you because I'm looking right at you right now.
So, the rational me definitely feels like this was like some government shit that happened. From the things they found, from the hard evidence that people have come forward with, I get a very strong government cover-up happening here because, one way or another, the government ordered it to be closed. They ordered this and that. They found so many things that kind of just like line up with the whole like government testing of weapons and or just being in the area kind of thing.
Yeah. So when you say government involvement and everything, what specific do you think? It's like government weapons? Do you think they're covering up for like aliens or something? What
It
detail?
could be both, actually, and that was actually something I was just about to get into. Is
sorry.
the the conspiracy me wants it to be aliens so bad. Like that's my
At
favorite.
the end of the day, it does
fucking
make the
thing.
most fucking sense.
Like, I think they could have either covered up weapons testing or they could be covering up UFOs that may have fucked with these skykers.
Thank you.
Thanks for correcting yourself.
So, like, I don't know. The possibilities are really, really, honestly, limitless as far as what we can say is fact or fiction. But, yeah, I guess, like I said, rational me says government testing of weapons, but the excited conspiracy theorist of myself wants to say it was aliens.
Jason?
Oh, I'm waiting to the end.
I'm waiting till the end too.
Well, it looks like we'll be waiting.
Well, because I have an
I can go.
I have
we're
like
at the end, so.
Well, I mean, I have a real world explanation for
Same.
radiation and everything.
Oh, see,
so
I
would
have
like
the other.
I would like you
Okay.
to go because of that. I
Okay.
think that one might blow your guys' lids off a little bit.
All right. Well, so while I was doing research, I found a few articles actually that came out. I think it was January 28th of like this year, saying there might be an actual scientific explanation for what happened. And what was it? What was the avalanche called? It was the shelf avalanche.
Slab avalanche.
Slab avalanche. They ran some simulations. Now that we've gotten into the
That was in
computing
mine
age,
too. Yeah.
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 and it is very, very possible that that's exactly what caused
Yep,
this.
it was,
would explain. It would explain the fucking broken bones with
pressure.
no actual. Yeah, the pressure. The pressure breaks. It would explain
The best part.
everything.
The best part is, Doug, you might like this. We can thank Frozen the movie
Yep.
for there's a guy who worked for the the Russian environmental department or whatever, and he watched Frozen. He's like, wow, that's some really good snow animation. We could probably use that in a simulation.
Yep.
He got in touch with Pixar. They
Yep.
made the simulation that Jason's talking about. Why did I call you Jim?
I'm not Jim.
made the simulation that
Jimson?
Jason's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
They
yeah.
used the Pixar fucking Frozen animation.
That was my theory too. I agree with you fully.
Oh yeah, and it makes sense, but the only thing it doesn't fucking explain is the radiation.
that's where I come into play.
That avalanches are fine and all, and that explains every other symptom, but the trace radiation found on their clothing, on their bodies, that doesn't explain that.
So, remember how I said it's gonna blow your guys' minds?
Yeah.
It's probably not. There's a very basic reason why there's radiation all
Are you
around.
blue balling us right now?
I am blue balling you.
All of
First and foremost,
Russia is just radiated.
pretty much. No,
well, everything is irradiated.
I feel
but-
pretty confident because that I saw that too, where it was the snow simulations and everything kind of proved that it was an avalanche. Obviously, they can't say it for official because you'll never know. They can't just be like, "Yep, it's confirmed. This avalanche happened, 60 some odd years ago."
Yeah.
But the lanterns that they were all using during the pass were thorium.
God damn. Well, there it is.
Thorium is a radioactive material.
Yeah, it's radioactive as fuck.
Which would explain the trace amounts of radiation on a lot of the clothing and in the surrounding area, because anywhere you have that thorium torch is going to have small amounts of radiation in the air and on things around it.
Well, that's
If you
fucking lame.
It is lame, I'm sorry, but
To give you a pop culture reference, remember in Dark Knight when Batman irradiated certain bills?
yeah.
Same shit,
Thorium.
but with people in clothing.
Yep.
It's
Yep,
just
yep,
fucking yeah. It's radiation.
And
marking.
actually, the Japanese government's using thorium radiation for a lot of the radioactive water that's left over from their
Fukushima.
Fukushima meltdown and everything.
oh shit.
So they're trying to introduce that water back into nature by using thorium for some reason. I don't remember how, but yeah. But yeah, it's just thorium. So it does seem like, unfortunately, the avalanche, the real world aspect of it is what's going on, which would explain why they ripped out their tent too.
Yep.
If they heard an avalanche coming, I'm gonna peel the fuck out of my tent.
Oh yeah.
I would like to shout out to my references here real quick.
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia for one.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Wikipedia is always going to be a reference, but there's Wikipedia, there's the Last Pod guys. They go into it really good. I believe it's like
Yeah.
episode 153.
Something, yeah, 150 something.
But they go into it really well. I also used Nick Crowley on YouTube.
Yeah,
That was a
same.
really
Yep.
good one.
He is a
His
great
little
one.
half-hour video fucking did
Yep.
this whole thing justice.
And then there's a woman called Ask a Mortician. And that's actually how I found the Frozen Pixar snow
Theory?
simulation theory, which
yeah,
is
yeah.
what sparked my interest. And she
Yeah.
actually went into the thorium thing as well. So big props to her and her channel. Go look it up. It's really awesome.
Hell yeah.
I want to shout out my buddy Jake for being the guy who told me about this topic in the first place for my own research. He was the one that introduced me into the topic, and then I watched a video or two of it, and here we are.
Yeah, see, I didn't until you guys brought it up. I'd heard the fucking name. I've never.
I've been
really
wanting to
delved
do this
into
one
it.
for a while. There's so many other topics. I'm glad you kind of brought it up, Doug, because this is kind of on my like bottom of the barrel things because it's such like a go-to one for me. Like if I'm out of ideas, it's Dyatlov Pass. Go.
Well, I mean, usually the fucking go-to ones are gonna be the best ones.
Yeah, true.
And honestly, I think this was we had a fucking fantastic
very
job with
fun.
this. Yeah,
Um,
it was thorough as fuck too.
Yeah.
We
It's like
also
a better Donner Party.
Yeah. It's we literally just we took this age fucking old mystery, we dissected it, we took all the theories, looked at what could possibly have been happening. The best part is though, once again, we're gonna be one of the first mediums to kind of give the full story because, like I said, there are a few others for sure. More so on
like
the
100.
well, more, but they're more so on like the article medium, like written word, not so much video, audio. If I'm wrong, I'll cut all of this.
Sorry, going back to the like our thoughts and everything. Again, the avalanche sounds like the real thing that happened, but the conspiracy theorist in me thinks it's a combination of the Soviet government cover-up and the aliens. It was actually aliens that did all this because the radiation and everything. And then the Soviet government actually decided they were going to cover up the aliens because they don't want the people knowing about the aliens right now because there's too much going on. The aliens haven't given us the internet yet. Al Gore has to invent the internet still and can take credit for it. So
is your brain falling out of your ears?
The Soviet government has to cover it up because they don't want to give away that they know about the aliens to the people. And if they do that, then the American people are going to know about it as well. So that's just how it goes. The aliens, man.
Oh man,
Yeah, it was a Yeti.
that was intense.
Yeah, I know. And it's not even that's the lizard people. It's the Greys. The Greys are the
All
most
right.
ones.
Doug, you wanna
and the Men in Black.
fucking
Look
roll
out
us
for
out of
fucking
this?
Van
All right, guys,
Thor.
so
Valiant Thor's in on as
I
well.
wanna
'cause
just
these Men
thank
in
you
Black. They're all
for-
pale. Look out for the black-eyed children as well.
You
They're
gotta keep
basically
going.
the kids.
I just want to thank you guys
the
for
Men in Black.
listening.
Yeah, look out for them as
you
well.
can find us, anywhere, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I think Mike just passed out. It's fine. Check us out on YouTube, anywhere
The lizard people
podcasts
are
are
gonna take us all
streamable.
over.
Oh my god, he's back.
If you want
Keep going.
to support us, please, we
You gotta
can.
look out. The internet was not invented by
you can
people. It was
find us
invented by the
on our
aliens. You gotta look
Patreon.
at all the
Support us if you
technology
like
we
what we
have right
do.
now.
We'll put out some more stuff.
We have
Patreon.com/DulutyPod.
technology
Yep,
that we're not supposed to have
DulutyPod
right now.
everywhere except for YouTube.
Think
It's just
things-
don't look
think
onto
about
the
it.
internet.
5G. We didn't come up with
Yeah,
that shit.
fucking hit us
Tell
up.
me what the fuck a router
Show us
is.
your
We don't even know
boobs.
what a router
Stuff
is.
like
Servers,
that.
We don't even have that
And
kind of
again,
technology right now.
Always,
Flying cars are in the future.
always stay paranoid.
Find a Yeti, rip his peen off, throw it at Mike. If you can find Mike in the real life, just take a Yeti peen. Throw it
Slap
at his
him
face.
with a Yeti. peen.
Linktree.com/DulutyPod. Have sex with a lizard person. They'll like it. You'll like it.
They
And if
will
you still
like it.
haven't taken that pear out of your ass from like 2 episodes
It's
ago,
fermented.
please
Drink
do.
it now.
Yeah, I'm sorry if we missed you on the last episode. Again, take the pear out.
Remove it. Put it back in.
But
it's
also,
not done yet.
Go back to our fucking Polybius episode. Listen to it. Tally up how many times Mike said or
I'm in danger.
Send it to us, please, because
We
This
want
is
this
the-
man to drink, and I want him to be so blackout wasted that doesn't
he's
even
going
know
to
who
be.
he is.
He's absolutely going to be.
Can you guys leave us like a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts too? That'd be super cool. I would really
That
like
would
that.
actually very much help us out.
I would love you forever. I'd love your dad forever. Your dad would love me forever. Your parents get a divorce because your dad's gonna come in with me now.
And then you can marry all
We're
of
gonna
us.
get a single room apartment together with our golden retriever.
Well, guys, thanks for coming out. We're going to end it here now.
Mike's going off on this fantasy
I don't know how
fiction.
many more of these we can handle. We love you guys.
We do.
Have a great night.
You got anything to say, Mike? Or are you just silent now? Wait, where'd Mike go?
He was just here.
The aliens did 9/11. You gotta look out for them.
Thank you so much,
They're in our
guys.
sewers, they're in our brains, they're in our
We will
technology.
see
They're
you
whispering
next time.
sponsorships into your ears. They're gonna put commercials in you. They want you to join their army.